Hi, third graders. Today's going to be your final lesson on taking notes on your second animal. And I, again, am doing elephant for my second animal. So today we're going to talk about two more types of notes that you can take. If you remember, here's what we did on our last lesson. We learned about boxes and bullets, and we learned about sequential order. So today we're going to learn about two more. The first one I want to teach you is comparing and contrasting. And I know we've done this before at school, so I know a lot of you have heard of this. Again, you do not need to write this part in green. I'm writing it just so you remember what we're talking about today. Compare and contrast. Now, this will work really well for subtopics where you have two things that you need to talk about how they're alike and how they're different. And so for the elephants, there are two kinds of elephants that I've been researching. There's Asian elephants and African elephants. So this would be perfect for the subtopic for me to use comparing and contrasting. So I've got the two types of elephants, Asian elephants and African elephants. So I need to figure out how I want to set up this part of my notes. And I think what I'd like to do is tell how they're alike at the top. So I could, right here, I could write alike. Or I could write similarities. And I'm also going to label the types of elephants. So I'm going to say Asian and African elephants. Similarities. Now right here underneath, I'm going to write all the ways they're alike. So I need to make sure that I go back to my books that I've been reading and pay really close attention to the different parts about the different kinds of animals for elephants. So let me show you what I have here. I'm going to go back to Epic, and I found a part in this book where it starts talking about African and Asian elephants. So right up here. There are two kinds of elephants, African elephants and Asian elephants. Although they have the same body parts, there are some differences. Okay, so number one, both kinds of animals have the same body parts. So under similarities, and I can just do this as a list. Same body parts. Then I see it says they're not the same size. African elephants are bigger. So I'm going to leave this similarity part at the top, and down here a little farther down, I'm going to write differences. And I think to make it easier, I'm going to split this part into two. I'm going to put Asian on one side, African on the other, and I'm going to tell how they're different, and I'm going to make a little chart like that. That will help me keep track of how they're different. Okay, so African elephants are bigger. So over here under African, one way they're different is the African is bigger. Let me go to the next page. An Asian elephant has a rounder head with a large bump on top. So over here for differences, I'm going to put rounder head with large bump. Not all Asian elephants have tusks, but all African elephants do. So that's a difference. Over here for African, I'm going to say all have tusks. We don't know which ones Asian elephants, which ones they have for tusks. Is it the girls, the females, or is it the males? I may have to figure that out by reading another book about this. That's all I see in this book about African and Asian. Let's try another book here. This book that I was reading earlier, I noticed had two sections, one all about African and one about Asian. So let me read a little bit of that. The African elephant has a dip in its back and its forehead is flat. It has rings all the way down its trunk, with 2 fingers at the tip for grasping. Its ears are large and wide. Some people say they're shaped like the continent of Africa. The African elephant lives in hot, dry climates and needs large ears to cool off. Let me go over to the Asian and see which parts of those are the same. Asian elephants are slightly different from their bigger African cousins. We already learned that. African elephants are bigger. The Asian elephant has a humped forehead and a rounded back, and a trunk with only 1 finger. Well, back here, for African elephants, it said 2 fingers at the tip. So at the tip of their trunk are 2 little parts that they can grasp. So that's a difference, isn't it? African elephants have 2 fingers at the tip of trunk. And Asian elephants have 1 finger at the tip of trunk. Interesting. Let me go back to the Asian side. Asian elephants have smoother skin, and some are lighter gray. They sometimes have colored blotches on their skin. So I'm going to say Asian elephants have smoother skin. Boy, we have a lot of differences between the two, don't we? I need to make sure that I'm going back to find some similarities. So as I continue working on this, I notice this part's looking a little empty. So I've got to do some more research in other books to find parts that make them the same besides just their body parts. There's got to be some more there. And then I'm going to continue filling in the differences. Okay? This is how you do compare and contrast notes. Now I want to show you one other type of note taking that you can do. And this one is called cause and effect. Cause and effect is when one thing happens that makes another thing happen. Now again, this will not work for every subtopic. You have to pick one where you're seeing something happening because something else happened. I noticed this would work well for my subtopic called dangers because the dangers are causing some things to happen with the elephants. So that's why I picked it for cause and effect. So for cause and effect, you just want to make sure that you're using some keywords when you're taking notes. And here's some keywords. I'm going to list them here, but you don't need them on your note taking. These are just for you to see. I'll do it in a green color too, because the green is not what you have to write, but just some ideas. Let's see. You could use keywords like, here are the reasons why this is happening. This is happening because of, oops, that's a C. Because of this. This led to, since this happened, so see, some of those words are keywords that I'm going to use when I'm using cause and effect. So when I was reading about elephant dangers, let me show you what I found. Actually, in the same book, they have a whole section called In Danger. And it says, elephants are so strong and large that they have few natural enemies. Even lions and tigers have a hard time killing adult elephants. Humans are the #1 killers of elephants. So I've got to find out why humans are killing elephants. I want to find out the reason, the cause for humans killing elephants. So here's one part, the ivory trade. Since early times, people have killed elephants for their tusks. Before people had guns, they could kill only a few elephants. In the 1970s, however, powerful automatic guns became available. Illegal hunters called poachers easily kill elephants with these guns. At this time, ivory became very valuable. So poachers killed as many elephants as they could. So the reason why adult humans are killing these elephants is for the ivory in their tusks. So I'm going to use one of these keywords when I take this part of notes. Let's see. I'm going to say because of the fact ivory is very valuable, humans are killing elephants. for their ivory tusks. So see, I used this one right here. So now I'm going to go back and find some other reasons, and I'm going to just list them out, but I'm going to use some of these keywords to show that I'm doing cause and effect. And when you use these keywords, your teacher will be able to tell that your notes in this section are cause and effect structure. If you're taking notes and you say similarities and differences, your teacher's going to know that you're doing comparing and contrasting. Okay, so again, the reason that we're doing this is to keep our notes nice and neat, to keep them organized. This is what real researchers do. They put their notes into categories and they keep them very nice and organized so that they can use them later on. And you're going to have to use your notes later on too. So again, try out comparing and contrasting and cause and effect if it works in some of your subtopics. And now we've learned 4. We also can use boxes and bullets and sequential organization. Okay, and as always, read. Read as many books about your animal as you can.